Welcome to the Feisworld podcast, engaging conversations that cross the boundaries between business, art, and the digital world.
Welcome to episode number 6 of the Feisworld podcast. I'm super excited about the guest I have for you today. Her name is Ina for 2 reasons. Okay, so she is the first female interviewee I have on the show. And second reason is Ina is a restaurant owner, but not just any restaurant. She owns my personal favorite restaurant called Ina's Kitchen, a Jewish deli with cuisine that I can eat all day long. This special episode was recorded inside that very kitchen. I grew up in a foodie's family. Both of my parents cooked a ton, and they're both experts in their own cuisine. Dad was Cantonese from southern part of China, and my mom grew up in Beijing, so she's a Mandarin cook. As a family, food was a common topic every day, and my parents quote-unquote competed with one another on cooking. As an only child, and to make sure I didn't break their hearts, they often tied for first place. Ina could really relate to my story, she said. Growing up, she recalls seeing dozens of friends coming over to her parents' house for spontaneous feasts. Both of her parents cooked a lot, and especially her grandma. Ina grew up in Russia. She and her family traveled to various parts of the world, including Israel, before settling in the United States in mid-80s. She has worked at restaurant businesses, underserved neighborhoods, and a ton of experience in cooking since she was a little girl. In this episode, Ina talks about starting her dream business about 3 years ago, in May 2011, a kitchen with her name on it that specializes in homemade Jewish cuisine, everything made from scratch, no cheating anywhere. So to name a few of my favorite dishes, if you ever get a chance to visit, make sure you try shakshuka, potato latkes with fried egg on top, sabi, which is marinated eggplants with veggies, spices, and a boiled egg. If you're a fan of falafel, you're in luck, and make sure to try Ina's falafel plate, beef kofta plate, and of course, last but not least, their most popular chicken matzo ball soup, and all the other things on the menu. Delicious. We don't just talk about the food part, by the way. Ina really opens her heart up about the making of a restaurant. If you ever thought about opening one up yourself one day, restaurant or coffee shop, tune in on the success tips and tricks, including one important but also very difficult decisions you might have to make. Also, Ina pulled out her cookbook from the 1950s. What's not to love about Ina's Kitchen? Next time you're in town, make sure you stop by Ina's Kitchen, located in the heart of Newton Center, Massachusetts. I'm drooling just by thinking about the restaurant right now, so I hope all of you enjoy this casual conversation between Ina and me.
This is my life. I love the cooking. And I have like no limitation here. First of all, I can cook anything I want. That place which we did the business before was a lot of limitations we're not allowed to. And there was no personality. And I thought the Jewish cooking, when I saw that show, when Chef Khitrik, he went to the place, a Jewish place where they making corned beef, making pastrami, like that, making everything from scratch, those matzo balls. I said, this is what I am. Mm-hmm. I did that all my life at home. I saw that. That's how we grew up. Yeah. You know, like this is what I think gonna be me.
Yeah. The kitchen is you, has your name attached to it. And I think really, even though I don't really know you all that well on a personal level, I have a feeling that everything about this kitchen, your staff members included, are a very accurate reflection of who you are, yourself. So I wonder, there are a few questions that have accumulated. One, which is, I love all the food. I mean, I could just come in one day with my eyes closed, but I wonder, given this community, your regular customers, what are some of the most popular, like favorite dishes, if you could remember, or where they're kind of equal?
Chicken soup is number one.
Chicken
definitely.
matzo ball soup.
Chicken matzo ball soup, yeah. People really love that flavor. They come in from some other neighborhoods as well, not only Newton. Falafel, what our data showed.
Yeah, data show.
Which is not always that accurate, because once we have an iPad now, it's much easier to keep track of that.
Oh, yeah. You use Square.
Yeah,
which
through the
is,
Square.
Yeah, that's great.
Because we have the names and everything of that, and that shows how much you sell.
It's so convenient.
So falafel would be number one seller after chicken soup.
Yeah.
And the corned beef and pastrami.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So everything else is coming along. Like we've been with our menu, like I said from the beginning, I try this, and that, and see what like I want to put so much in this case, which we don't really have that much room. And then we figured what sells more. We don't want to create something which is going to go to waste.
Did you predict that these three are going to be the top three in customers' favorites?
I didn't even think of that.
I
thought I will show this, and that. Plus, falafel, it's not something I grew up with.
Yeah.
It's just to represent this part of the world, which lots of Jewish people are in. And my family is in, so it's like my home anyway. And I love that. But when I was going to Israel always to try so many dinners, they know, but my sisters say, no, you eat falafel only out of this place. This is the one which we like. And we've been in different places, and sometimes you stop for lunch. They all so different.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I work in downtown.
Yes.
Falafel King and Pita Time, these are some of my favorites when I'm at work, but taste very different.
Taste and even shape.
Yeah.
Some of them just as big, giant balls, fluffy ones. Just another one just more yellow, another one more green.
Yeah.
So I was playing with different recipes at home even before opening to recreate something which my sister would go and say this is the best, and something what I like. Took us another year to get actually the pita, which we serve once we change the meat to kosher.
Yeah.
That's when we are able to get the pita, because it comes from Israel.
Yeah.
And shipped to New York. So that's how we get it.
Yeah.
With our meat supplier.
It is amazing. Mr. Huang, the business partner I mentioned earlier, desperately is seeking to get the pita bread, and it makes me laugh every time.
Sometimes I run out, like around the holidays, now I know we put extra freezer just for that.
Yeah.
Because around holidays, like Jewish companies not working, and the shipment is always get off track.
Yeah.
So you have to have plenty in stock.
Now you mentioned Jewish holidays, and we'll definitely talk about catering as well, which is a little bit different. I remember from just a couple of months ago, there are a few major Jewish holidays, and the scene within the kitchen, Rosh Hashanah, and the one after that,
Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur, yeah. And I remember customers will line up here in this deli, and I remember them picking up, to me, maybe 80, 100 pounds of food, and then kind of like shove in their car. And what was that time like? And
it's intense.
Very intense.
It's very intense, because you have to operate the deli at the normal schedule, which is, I think our customer already know. People know around the holidays don't come in for lunch, because even we trying to create, people pre-order food, and we asking them, we giving them a specific time for pick up.
Yeah.
But here and there, somebody gonna show up, whether late because their pick up was at 10 o'clock, they come in at 12, which is create big problem. Like you don't, everything. Things happens.
It's just like traffic jam, right? You can never predict.
Traffic jam, sometimes people just show up, it's in their time, pick up time, and they right in lunchtime. But it's very intense to prepare for that. Every year we get a little smarter, and I'm learning to say no.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yes.
So we have the deadlines, which before, like you need a business. How can you say no to the customer who comes in and supports you all the year round, and they late with the order? and you're gonna say no to them, it's breaking my heart. I cannot do that.
Uh-huh.
But it was a point that I think 2 years ago, I had to work 20 hours a day in order to fulfill my orders, which is after that was for Passover. Which I thought, okay, I have extra food which people pick up for tomorrow, but those people is today, and I can always cook for tomorrow, not realizing what the day gonna be ending and another starting soon.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have time to cook. But at that moment, I remember I sold once, and I sit down and I look how much production I have to do for next day. I had to cry.
Yeah, it's tough having that.
And this was a lesson for me because it was literally 20 hours. I live nearby, so I went home to sleep for a few hours, which I don't know if I slept or not because I had to wake up for the day like at 3 o'clock in the morning to come in and fulfill these orders. But I don't have to say no.
Yeah. Now it's only do what's
like at
what's
certain
enough.
time, and then I know I have another weekend. I see what people later would order it. I sit down and I see if I can produce that much, that I take it more.
So in comparison to Jewish holiday, which is very demanding, and a lot of people I know that typically Jewish families who invite many others, and that's why the food always comes in such a huge volumes. It's not just for their own family. In comparison, is catering business a little bit easier for you? I know you guys have a very thought out catering business. Is it as tough, or is it actually a lot easier?
It's easier. It wouldn't be easier. We just didn't grow that business yet. Since 3.5 years, it's not such a big time for the business.
Right.
It takes at least 5 years. Lots of people must say to start, to actually get your name out there.
Yeah.
But this is our goal right now, to have more orders for the have a catering, like a corporate events, lunches, which we're doing some, but we can produce way more.
Yeah.
Since our place is so small,
Yeah.
we can seat only like 12 people in here.
So
But that easily I can do with the stuff that we have right now. And if I have the order the day before, I can plan it out enough, and in the morning we can produce a lot of sandwich platters, Mediterranean platters, falafel, which is usually what offices are ordering.
So you talked about awareness and marketing of the business, and I would, I argue that for the quality of the food, how friendly the staff members and how responsive everybody is, and it speaks for itself. This is a brand and a business that truly speaks for itself, for its super high quality service. Right now, you guys are searchable on Facebook. You had mentioned that you're learning about Facebook community on your own. What are some of the other channels would people also expect to be able to find you? Are you guys anywhere else on the internet?
Usually how people find us is through Yelp. Everybody searching the Yelp. There's the biggest, I think, brings us more customers because we have a very high reviews in there.
Yeah.
And whenever anybody search for, I'm not a technical person. I cannot, phone for me, like I got my touch screen phone just, I think, last year.
Yeah.
When everybody had, I still had dial phone.
Yeah.
So for me, all this technology, this is all Alex's side, but I know people coming over when we see somebody we didn't see before, we keep asking, is it your first time here, to know how they find us.
Yes.
Mostly it's Yelp.
Yeah, that's very smart, by the way. Just speaking from my business background, because we're a business where you don't have hundreds of thousands of people travel in which case it's very hard to address each person, when a new customer walks in, I think it's very critical to ask that question. How did you find us? And I would argue that in addition to how, if the answer is online, well, where online? Was it our official website?
We were usually asking is, what did you Google?
Yeah.
What was your search?
What is a search term? Yeah.
And lots of people searching just for lunch. If you just can Google lunch in Newton, we're gonna pop up.
Yeah.
Because when your rating is high, then it puts you on top of others. So that's what we're very grateful for existing.
Yeah, that's great. And This is all very insightful, especially for people. There are many people out there thinking about opening restaurants, but just by watching or having friends who own a restaurant business, personally, I know how much work there is. And I know, especially for Chinese restaurant owners in Chinatown or outside of Chinatown, people do work, 20 or so hours every day. Some of the restaurants open till 10, 11 p.m. It's a nightmare. Right. So what is your advice to people who are thinking about opening a restaurant of any kind? We don't really have time to kind of dive into
First of all, you have to know you have to be the cook, I think. You have to know the food, because what I see people fail, like there was a place here, everybody referred to that place, and I actually looking as an example for that place maybe about 10 years ago, so maybe a little bit on Langley Road, and that was completely kosher. I think Julius Cafe, I walked in there once, it was so beautiful, completely supervised, all kosher, in the center, right in the center of everything. It should be successful.
Yeah.
But when I was talking to other people and they realized, but they closed down in the first 1.5 years, I think they've been in business on it. And the reason is what some people telling me, like actually Rabbi who was trying to convince me to go completely kosher, and I always say, how come this business hasn't been, people who is Orthodox did not support that business.
Yeah.
So it was so needed. There is no many delism here. And he said the owner wasn't a chef, so she hired a professional, chefs. She hired everyone. You cannot just oversee the business unless you have millions of dollars to put in. I'm on a very low budget. We not, we did not inherit anything.
Yeah.
This is an earned money which we put in the business, and I risk everything. It's not like I have investor, which is okay, $100,000 more, $100,000 less.
Yeah.
For me, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that's why I think you have to be able, first of all, you have to know all the jobs, what involved in running the business, so you need to know everything. If your dishwasher step all of a sudden just quit on you, you have to know how to solve that problem immediately. If something breaks, I think you have to be hands-on.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's
a critical feedback, which I didn't think of myself. I assume one of the critical part is you have to be willing to work hard. And then to your point, just by working hard alone is not enough. I think the knowledge behind the interest in cooking, the fact that you've cooked your whole life, you observed your parents, and I think you are very conditioned to working hard.
Yeah, you need to have some people saying what I have is certain taste buds, which I don't know. I think I have a normal one, which you taste the things and you read the recipe and you figure it out if it's going to go together or not. So this way you can adjust something. You don't have all ingredients, maybe you can come up with something else. But you definitely in business, running the business, I think first you have to create something and teach people how to recreate that.
Yeah.
Then you can take it easy a little bit. So, but for us, I want our dishes to be unique. Like my stuffed cabbage is different from anybody else's.
My favorite.
Because it's like my family was making, but a little bit adjusted to American taste.
Yeah.
Because my mom would never make it sweet. She doesn't put any raisin, and she make it with tomatoes, but sugar is not involved in there, or raisin. She would say, "Are you crazy? Putting raisin with the meat?"
Yeah, it's like Japanese people
not
say,
stuffed cabbage.
How could you put sugar in green tea? If you go to Japan and then you ask for sugar for your green tea, they will not do it for you. But I'm a fan of one other local restaurant, but one of the things I don't like as much is I like your kitchen much better than all the other local restaurants. But say when you're closed, I go to Johnny's Luncheonette, and I've been there for years, and I do like certain things from there, and especially the sweet potato fries. But unfortunately for me, the chicken matzo ball soup, sometimes it's too salty and I don't really taste the essence of the chicken anymore. And one of the other, my favorite dish over there, which I don't like as much anymore, is what you just mentioned, the stuffed cabbage. It's way too sweet for me that I feel like I could taste the ketchup, like raw ketchup. It's that sweet. Whereas I tried the stuffed cabbage for the first time a few weeks ago, and I was completely in love. Another reason is I was running out of things I haven't tried yet at your kitchen. I've tasted everything, and I yet to find anything that's even slightly disappointing. And
Johnny actually coming for lunch now here since he sold his place.
John?
Yeah, Johnny from Johnny Lunch and
Oh, no way! He sold his business.
He sold his business last year, I think. So it's
wow.
new owners now, and he comes for lunch here.
That's so fascinating.
Wow. My son didn't know him. Like he was ordering, and he ordered I think he ordered half a borscht last time and a half a sandwich for me for pastrami. And I said, Jenny, what are you doing? I said, he's writing. He's been working almost 20 years in this business, so he did all his life to it. But for me, it was kind of
such a compliment.
A compliment. He's coming and eating my food.
Yeah, and I this is so fascinating, and best of luck to the restaurant and all. To respect your time, I have 2 more questions, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, one thing that really made me curious is when I practice yoga, and I still do on a regular basis, and we go to classes. When I go through my teacher certificate, I have to do all these twisting motions and do the most difficult moves from these amazing, extraordinary teachers. And then after class, I'll ask them, male or female, what do you practice at home? And oftentimes the teacher said, I don't do any of these advanced moves. They would tell me they've been doing yoga all their lives, and they do the most simple. They practice the most simple moves, and they get just as much out of them. So my question back to you is, what do you cook at home for yourself, for your family? And we'll talk about your kids in a second, because you did tell me they demand cheeseburgers. So let's talk about what you cook for yourself before talking about your 3 children.
I don't cook for 3 children anymore, just for 1 now. The comfort, which we open for lunch only, not for dinner. And my comfort food and what my kids always love, it's beef patties. It's like a hamburger, but it's not a hamburger. It's ground meat with onion. I put a little celery in it, garlic, and you fry it like a hamburger. The patties like that, but not that flat like cakes.
Mm-hmm.
Like with mashed potato, like little cakes.
Yeah.
With mashed potato, with some salad, and our traditional salad.
Yeah.
Even we did not grow up kosher, and I would eat dairy with meat at home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't offer that here unless people ask for that. Yeah. But at home, I would like to have a salad with tomatoes and cucumber with sour cream.
Yeah.
So that's the easiest thing. Or just my family likes chicken, just a drumstick. So sometime at 4 o'clock, I'm closing. I drive by the Whole Food. I pick up some drumsticks or whatever. Usually I don't even plan what I'm gonna cook. I stop by and I see, what they have on sale today. What kind of meat, what I'm gonna look up for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've been always run my family on the economic kind of watching the budget.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. I can buy, I just don't like to plan that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going, I see whatever on sale, I grab it, and I figuring out on my way home what I'm gonna make with that.
Yeah.
So what they like just roast some of this chicken with the sauces, or that's the most popular thing. Just the cutlets when I have to go away, and I prepare my freezer for the family. So that's gonna be chicken schnitzel, this beef patties, beef or turkey. We do a lot. Meatballs, what they love, and fish.
Salads, traditional
the
salad.
fish I don't like to prepare, and I like just to fry them. My daughter eats only white flesh fish, so with a cod or flounder or haddock, something like that. It's just very simple. Salt, pepper, flour it, and fry it.
Yeah. Interesting. Great answer.
Fried potatoes I love, since from Belarus we ate a lot of potatoes.
Yeah. Fried potatoes.
Mashed potato, fried potatoes, and potato latkes that, of course, they adore. If I know I don't have time, I grab some from here.
Yeah. That's great. And it's so lucky that cooking can be so fun, but sometimes can feel like such a chore for people who work full time and, you know, what's healthy to cook. You know, at the end of the day, do I want to spend $20? And here at your kitchen, $20, $30 can go a long way for a party of two. Food tastes delicious. And honestly, it's hard for me to make an argument to say, today I'm going to cook at home and clean 12 dishes.
I make them clean sometimes. That's what I don't like to do.
Yeah.
I like to have a parties in the house.
Mm-hmm.
But what I only don't like the part after the party, to clean up everything.
Yeah.
I love cooking. Like everybody say, you've been cooking all day. You really want to go home and cook?
Do you?
That's
you
my
love
relaxation. Yes.
Yeah.
I can still cook.
Yeah. This is good to know. So
only if I
like
know what somebody else gonna clean up, then I can spend my day off cooking.
Yeah. Interesting. So maybe I will ask you to cook for me sometimes, or I just come here.
Anytime. You can just come here and cook.
Yeah.
Or like if I would make those classes, I don't know if you heard the lady was asking how's your classes.
Oh, chicken
Because
matzo ball soup class.
Yeah, just the cooking classes to make. And
When
I'm
is the
waiting
next
for
one?
I'm waiting for my kitchen. I want to do it at home because it's more the whole idea to show people how to do it at home.
At home, yeah.
Not in a professional kitchen.
Yeah,
And then we can
industrial
sit down.
fans.
Then we can sit down and eat together and have a glass of wine.
I love
More in a
that.
home environment.
Mm-hmm.
And my kitchen design pretty good for that. So I just waiting for finishing all this remodeling which we're doing in the house right now.
Yeah, well, when is your family dinner table event going to start? I want to make sure my name is first on the list.
We do take names, but it should have been done a month ago.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with my contractors. But I think it's coming along already. It's 95% finished.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid saying a date, but as soon as it's ready, I will try to do it at least once a month.
Yeah, and I
To
have
have
a
classes, maybe even next month.
Yeah, on that note, I have a suggestion, which is there's a website I'm sure Alex has heard of. It's called eventbrite.com.
Event.
Yeah, and I will write it down for you before I head out. And it's a very simple way for you to organize any events. And companies like Google, Microsoft use it for their after hours, get-togethers, seminars, workshops type of deal. And my Taekwondo school also uses it for signing up for summer camps, day camps for students. And I think it's the same thing for you, especially when it's a recurring event. You don't have to redesign the event over and over again. And this way, once you set it up, people can pay directly online. There are multiple payment options. And also, if the event is way out, like someone like me might want to sign up for your dinner get-together for the next 12 months. And I will have reminders. I'll actually receive reminders, a week, 2 weeks before, so to remind myself to go. And also that really takes the most painful process, which is the payment process, reminder process.
That's what I figured when we were doing it here, that I did. Last year, even December, I did a class here, which was pretty good, but this is new for me to do the class. Like, I think in one way, I think it was great to show people how you can do a lot of things at once, which I can do. But a lot of home cooks or just the people who wants to learn, this is too much for them. So I made pretty aggressive menu for that 3 hours, which we was together. When I met people, I realized they just need the simple classes, how to cut the vegetables and talk about that, how to peel, what's the best way to do it, instead of giving them we're making 2 soups, we're making main dish meat, we're making vegetarian, we're making side dishes at the same time.
Yeah.
It was a little bit too much and too aggressive.
Yeah.
So, but this was a learning process.
Yeah, of course.
Which everybody had a good time.
Yeah.
I did not have too many people. I think it was only 4 signed up, and then Alex and his wife stayed a little bit because he also doesn't have time to watch me how I do things.
Yeah, interesting.
So,
and people are such different levels.
But now I can see how it's needed. Like one of my customers says, she loves the classes, to take classes.
Yeah.
And also not many people doing that.
Yeah.
And they just one day dedicated just to making pie. Like I was thinking making chicken soup and all the process about it. So, but this is a learning process now for me, how to sign up people. I want to have 8 people instead of for.
Yeah.
How to make sure people sign up and commit to that.
Yeah.
Prepay, I think, was a good way people committed. They would remember.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they cancel at the last minute.
Yeah, of course. And that would be too much work when by the time you prepare the ingredients, you set your
Yeah,
time
because
aside.
I already spent the money to set up for the class, especially if I'm going to do out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Which I want to do anyway. But I think with time it shows.
Yeah.
It will show what's more productive, what to do, what people want to do.
Yeah.
They don't.
So this is very helpful, and I'm so glad that we naturally talked about the workshop and knowing there will be more cooking workshops, either at your kitchen or at your home coming up. Definitely want the listeners, if they're interested, live nearby, or they can fly in from Seattle. I don't care.
Yeah, why not?
No, why not?
Just for the famousness.
Just for the famousness. To experiment that, and it's truly very special. I think it's a very special experience. I like to close the podcast on one simple question. Sometimes I do rapid fire questions, and but there's one I was thinking that you've experienced a lot in life, and we talk about how you've gotten to the country and with your family, the struggles you had to go through, and we can set aside that as a separate podcast, and there's a lot to talk about. And but for now, I think, when you first got here in the country, or to simply put, I guess, what would you say to your 20-year-old self? What have you learned now that you wish you knew when you were 18, 20?
That's a very difficult question, so actually never thought of that that way.
Only going forward.
You surprised me with this question.
Doesn't have to be, yeah.
I don't know if I would
Change anything.
I don't know if I would change anything to go back.
Were you much like the way you are now when you were 20? Or?
No, I'm more sure of myself. I was a scary cat, so I think I have way more ambition now than before. I believe, like what I can do. Most stuff what I was afraid I would never be able to do. Like whatever was in front of me, I was scared of that. But I know I can do that now, and I set up, I think, the bigger goals for myself.
Yeah.
So, but I think pretty much I know that I have to depend on myself. I have a good support around, but to be strong. It's my mother, she brought us up that way. But I don't think I would change much. I would have more people, because I know now what I can do way more than before.
Yeah, you learn along the way.
Yes, I think whatever obstacles come in front of you, I know I can handle it.
Yeah.
Right now, like I say, whatever happens, it's for the reason.
Yeah.
So, and that's the way it should be happening. Before I would have cried probably more about whatever comes my way, which I cannot handle. I think I cannot handle, but in the end, you handle it anyway.
Yeah. Very good.
So I think just more reassurance, and that had to do, like I had one of my supervisors who did job with Jewish family and children. It's very good. Jewish community housing for the elderly.
Yeah.
That's my job, which after my first business failed, I kind of ended up way down because I had nobody else. I worked for one person for 6 years. I had no other references, and that person was my business partner.
Yeah.
So I had to start from the bottom again.
Yeah.
And I did. And then I met this lady who was hiring for the assistant manager. So my other friend suggested me, and I remember I came to the interview with her while I was working at Nature Harbor with a Whole Food right now in Washington Street, and we had an interview in Cabbage. So, and it was scary for me to start that job, kind of assistant manager of the kitchen. What can I do? Would I be able to do that? Because of language barrier still, because it was my boss was Russian speaking, so but. And I started, and she, after a short time, she observed what I could do. She gave me the kitchen to manage on my own, which I managed for the next 12 years. It was kind of 9 months, she said. I gave birth And she's the one who was always telling me, you can do that. Why you think you cannot do? You can do that. Because my self-esteem probably was growing up in Russia, not like everybody else, always knowing that you are like you're not like everyone else in Russia. I can see the love, and I have my yes, because I'm Jewish and there are certain names for Jewish people in Russia. What kids would call you, kids. It's cool. That's what I felt.
Yeah.
And I think it's get myself esteem.
So this woman you were talking about, is it possible to reference her name? We don't
Absolutely.
have to.
I think we can. She moved out from here, and actually she left the company as well. She's not working there anymore. But I don't think she'll mind.
Yeah, and
she actually helped me even with this business when I was opening. She helped me a lot
great.
in the beginning.
Yeah, I don't mind writing down her name. And
Teresa Marula. Teresa Marula.
Yeah, Teresa Marula. That's fantastic.
Yeah. She was a director of the program, food program, JCG. And then she left. And after that short time, I left because
Let's talk about that business real quick. And I know I promised you I was going to close.
The business which I was in Brookline, right?
Yeah, the Jewish community.
Oh no, that's the kitchen I operated.
Okay, that's the kitchen. I see.
That's it. It's a huge organization, a Jewish community housing for the elderly. They have like 6 buildings, like buildings more, and they manage the Meals on Wheels for the elderly, kosher Meals on Wheels for all Greater Boston area.
Whoa!
And one building has mandatory food program. That's where I was manager.
I see.
In Auburndale also, next to Newton Belton, there is a Golden Air House.
Yeah.
That's a kitchen which she gave me to manage after working for about 9 months.
Wow.
Because I was assistant manager with her for Meals on Wheels, and it's big mixers you have to lift. Like it sounds, you're assistant manager, you are cooking, you're supervising, you're doing all of that too.
Yeah.
It's like running your own business. You have a budget. She is in charge, but I was involved in all of it. She would teach me everything.
All the heavy lifting involved.
But you still have heavy lifting. And she was a big woman.
Yeah.
And she said, the first time I saw you lifting this pot of mashed potato, and that's a 25-pound mix, not 20, it's 50-pound mixer.
Wow.
With the potatoes in it. So what I would do, I took a scoop, I lift some of that. A few times I pulled my back.
Oh, no.
But, you do what you have to do. So I figure out, I scoop a little bit out, and then lifting is so you have to do it the right way. You won't hurt yourself. But she said, I knew that you can do way better than that. And you can do different things.
Yeah.
So mandatory food program at Golden Air, it is more interesting in making Meals on Wheels. People come in to eat every day, 5 days a week. So you create a menu, you can play with it a little bit more. In production is not as big as a Meals on Wheels, so and it's kind of is more
flexible. Yeah.
And you can do the certain things. You can do cannot do a lot of things. It's only meat kitchen.
Yeah.
You cannot do any dairy in there. But it's more creative than making meals, than doing Meals on Wheels.
Yeah.
Which is at the last years when the economy went down and we didn't have a lot of people donating money to the program. So we put these 2 programs together. Now they all existed as one.
Wow.
Out of the Golden Air kitchen.
Nice.
Because it was more productive that way, and the Meals on Wheels subsidized actually program at Golden.
So interesting. Very different.
But I learned a lot of things. It was for me like running my own business because you have a budget and you have to keep it.
Timeline, budget, and
Yes.
dealing with customers.
Yeah. Dealing with workers and the customers, the elderly communities. It's difficult community. Actually, Asian population is the best customer. They never complain about anything.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, really. They just come in, get their meal, don't say anything.
Yeah, I think they enjoy, they feel very privileged, and I know there is a subsidized housing project near Cleveland Circle. I don't know which building exactly. There's a very large Russian and Asian Chinese community living in there.
I think you're probably talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
This is on the Wallingford Road.
Yeah, I
There
think
is
so.
3 buildings,
Yeah.
and mostly it used to be lots of Americans living there, but first Russians moved in, Americans moved out a little bit, so it's 50-50 pretty much Russian and Asian population.
Yeah, and then the Asian population in particular, I had the pleasure to meet a gentleman in his 80s, I believe, and appreciates the service so much. The meals he absolutely enjoys, and I think some of what we talk about here kind of overlap with one another, and he's very appreciative of the support system.
Yeah, we had a Asian couple moving in Baltimore, and he used to own a restaurant. And I was asking him, give me something, like, tell me what should I do a little bit, like, just give me advice, some ideas, what should I cook? Everything fine.
Yeah, everything's
Everything
great.
fine. And they very willing to volunteer.
Oh, wow.
Like for Friday, for Shabbat meal, we did like lots of rolls, like it's 150 people coming at the same time. And like I needed to put the rolls in a paper bag so we can serving will be more productive, everybody take their meal and move along to the dining room. So
Yeah.
they would come in and sit down
Yeah.
at the round table
Yeah,
together, they bring their neighbors
yeah.
and sit down doing the rolls, cranberry packing in the containers. They're very willing to volunteer all the time.
That's great. I love talking about the community aspect of things, and food plays such an important part for obvious reasons, but I think it's a business where you connect with people on a very authentic level. Food is a very basic need, and versus the line of work I'm in, oftentimes you see people eat lunches at their desks, which I didn't really grow up that way. It's a meal is a ritual in itself. You have to respect, enjoy, and really appreciate as you're eating the food. So I tend to go somewhere, walk around a little bit. So I love this aspect of your life. Perhaps it's so natural, almost a given to you, but I think this story will really resonate with a lot of people who want to understand restaurant business, what if you want to open one, and really what it's like to live a life like this, to own a business. So very encouraging.
I'm just starting, so 3.5 years.
Yeah, no regrets.
I think there is no regrets. It's definitely great feeling, and like people say, come in, and I want people to come in and feel here welcoming. It's very casual, like get your own coffee, the milk and cream is right there.
Yeah.
First I was very uncomfortable saying that. Alex actually kind of, Mom, this is a self-service, just point out. And I feel like, even in my home, I serve people,
Yeah.
And we do know our customers who comes every day.
Yeah.
Like we like to know them by name.
Uh-huh.
And, I know that somebody had operation and to us, they share these things.
Yeah.
I wish I have more time, actually, when I have to sit down here and meet the people, see them every day, but
You're too busy.
and I've been telling Alex he's working right now on changing the menu and trying to promote our catering. He's barely, people don't see him that much. Used to be like he would sit in his corner in the morning and working on a computer, and I said, I know it's not productive work, but people like to see you, I think. And you can answer
I like to see
questions.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I hope he will finish his project, and we'll see him more, not just for the lunchtime.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we get to know people very first, in this community. Like, I know what Alex really enjoyed about it. He has a political major in college. He did not do that it wasn't the plan.
Yeah.
But he always liked to cook also a lot.
Yeah.
But he also likes to be part of the community, and it makes it, it's like you belong. People coming to you, you doing something for others. And I know it makes him feel very, great to be part of that.
Yeah.
He enjoys it because he's very smart. He can do computer, high tech. He can do any kind of computer work. He can fix it. He can put it together. He worked at MIT for a year, I think, at Media Lab.
Yeah.
He's been doing that kind of, but he really enjoyed that because this dealing with people every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
This part.
I can tell
Yeah.
he enjoys this job
and
very
being
much.
part as a community also, you bring He's married. His wife is a cantor who belonged to the temple, and she was in Hebrew college here. So Hebrew college supporting us a lot. They come for lunch. They whatever they need to order, when they can they order from us because we're not kosher enough for some events. And they really support us.
That's
and
great.
the customers, our customers, means a lot to us. And like today was a sad day. We have to go to one of our customers passed away just all of a sudden.
Oh.
And from her work, they called me on Thursday from her office because I think they find and they noticed that they know what she loved you so much. She always bring food from your kitchen. We want to let you know that she passed away.
Oh my
Just
goodness.
like,
Do I know which customer
I
this
think
is?
she's a lawyer local.
Oh, I see.
She would come just for holidays. She was
Wow.
here. She didn't wake up.
Mm.
So something
Very,
happened.
very
So
sorry.
Like hard. Alex went to the funeral and we sent
Wow.
her favorite treats, what she liked the most for her way.
That must mean a lot to her. It's a very special,
It's very sad. Very sad. She,
and I absolutely think that this business will thrive in this community for a very long time. You're surrounded by a beautiful neighborhood, a lot of interesting people in and out, and I think you'll hear even more stories, and who knows, a year or 2 years from now, maybe we can record another podcast to talk about new items on the menu, and all the new connection you've made, and all the new things you've learned. So I think that will be, this is a to be continued and
I
a
hope
continuing
so.
journey.
I hope so.
So that is the end of my conversation with Ina. I had a lot of fun. I welcome you to visit their website at inaskitchen.com. Ina is spelled as I-N-N-A, both N's as in Nancy. You could also find them on Facebook. They're located at 19 Pelham Street in Newton Center, Massachusetts. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next time. To listen to more episodes of the Feisworld podcast, please subscribe on iTunes or visit feisworld.com. That is FEISWORLD, where you can find show notes, links, other tools, and resources. You can also follow me on Twitter at Feisworld. Until next time, thanks for listening.